ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe says the party is concerned with what seems to be political killings in Mpumalanga weeks before its elective conference in December. Gert Sibande Region Deputy Chair Muzi Manyathi was killed on Friday, while Norman Ngwenya was murdered in the KaNyamazane township a week earlier. We're joined now by Reputation First Managing Director Tshepo Matseba. Tshepo, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Of course, there is a big issue here around the imaging of the ANC and how these killings make the party look. The reality, however, is that it's been an ongoing problem, especially when we look at the regions of Mpumalanga and KZN, where violence has been escalating for a number of years now.
Yeah, good evening, Kathy, and good evening to the viewers. Certainly, we have to reflect about this in the sense that as a country, and particularly the ANC, comes from a history of extreme violence politically, extreme killings. And in recent time, we will recall that in 2017, young Cindy Somatgata was actually assassinated for his attempts to report procurement irregularities in that municipality. And now the recent killings in KwaZulu-Natal, actually this year alone, when we reflect on the numbers, we are looking at from between 2016 and now around 400 people or more that have been murdered politically in South Africa, and most of those involve the African National Congress. And so this sends a very, very chilling signal that as you run up towards the elective conference of the ANC each year, the security cluster and indeed perhaps the ANC itself need to reflect on how to proactively use intelligence to anticipate these incidents, because we can't actually afford to have so many young leaders murdered, family members, fathers murdered in this fashion.
Let's talk about then what the party needs to do in order to not only be seen to responding to these levels of violence, but to actually be taking them as seriously as they demand.
Yeah, obviously what you would want to see is beyond just the rhetoric and the statements made by the spokesperson of the ANC and perhaps even various leaders of the ANC. You want to see the leadership and the National Executive Committee of the ANC gathering around the table and demonstrating that as an organization they are united against the scourge of assassinations that we see within this organization. Without political will and the leadership from the top sort of buying into the elimination of murder and assassinations, this is likely to continue. But also the ANC needs to begin to be honest with itself around how the electioneering happens in this organization of Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo, how they go about electioneering to talk about the things that are uncomfortable, things such as allegations that some leaders are actually buying votes, and that they are buying their positions, and that they are buying branches and pay. And so the ANC must reflect as openly as possible about what are the mechanisms that are being used to take over its organization, being used by their own members in their quest for power, and so that, you know, in that openness and transparency comes engagement and conversation, and it's conversation and dialogue that helped us in 1994 and pre-1994 to negotiate a reasonable settlement and minimize the violence that we were seeing at that time. And then additionally, I don't see the ANC saying we're talking to the police and gathering around the table and saying, but you know, we are dealing with this internally, but additionally we are dealing with this through the police, the right structures of the police, so that law enforcement can take its course and can be seen to be taking its course, and the perpetrators should be punished harshly. But unfortunately what you are hearing is just pure rhetoric and condolences and those type of messages, which does not help to change the fundamental difficulties that the organization is facing, the systemic issues. And some of those systemic issues have to do with issues around procurement, corruption, and theft of public resources. And that's why people resort to this type of barbaric, actually, to be honest, barbaric actions.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. Reputation First Managing Director Tshepo Matseba.